for this privilege to share the word in the midst of chosen people. Today the Bible passage is from Job chapter 1 verse 22. In all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrongdoing. In line with, I have entitled the topic, Experiencing Freedom in the Midst of Turmoil. Experiencing freedom in the midst of turmoil. Prior going towards the reflection to this verse, let me draw attention towards the life of Job. Verse 1, he was blameless, means full-heartedly pure. Upright means righteous. God-fearing refers, recognize God's way, and turn away from evil deeds, persisting in resisting temptation. At the same time, he was the greatest of all the inhabitants of the east, as well as the richest. Yet Job sanctifies his sons and daughters after their feast are done, and rise early in the morning to make burnt offering, believing that his offspring may have sinned against God. Following that, the conversations between God and Satan, notably God, who was confident in Job's life and proclaimed to Satan that his servant Job was blameless, upright, and turned away from wickedness. Following the talks, God allows Satan to cause turmoil into his life, bringing forth the four scenarios of Job's turmoil. First, Satan killed his servant. Second, fire of God fell from heaven and burnt up the servants and sheep. Third, Chaldeans sieged camel and killed servants. And fourth, a great wind came across the four corners and fell on his sons and daughters, and they died. However, after hearing all this news, he did four things quickly. First, he arose, which means deep sense of sorrow. Second, tore his robe, which refers to expression of grief. Third, shaved his head, means mourning. And fourth, fell on the ground and worshipped, which depicts surrendering everything to God and giving God the glory for God's sovereignty. Despite his turmoil, he opted to serve God. In fact, his response in verse 21 was so strong and profound that he professes faith. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The God came, and the God has taken away. Blessed be the name of the God. In all of this occasion, we can witness Job's grateful actions and believing God in the midst of turmoil. He acknowledged God for the sovereignty that Savior has. As his bold and profound statement of faith demonstrates the intimacy between God and Job, it is also clear that Job comprehends God beyond carnal human knowledge, which undoubtedly elaborates on the traits that God revealed about Job. Job has freedom to question, curse, and murmur against God for everything that has happened as a nightmare, but he chooses to declare God's freedom in the midst of physical turmoil. Therefore, in verse 22 says, in all this, Job did not sin or charge God with wrongdoing, despite of the severe situation arose up in the life of Job. But still, he did not give way to any action or expression offensive to his Maker, as well as he did not charge God with acting unkindly, because he knew that his life itself is a gift from God. So whatever occurred in Job's life, he believed it held according to the will of God. Job considered the God as the control of his life. Job really understood what Jesus meant when he said, one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possession. Consequently, we observe Job's unwavering commitment to God and his enduring love for God. Though, in the verse 11, Satan's claim that if Job's benefits were taken away, he would curse God was proven false. And we could say that God was rightfully proud of his servant Job. Satan was completely disappointed in this man. He discovered a man who loved his God more than his worldly portion. So even in the midst of turmoil, Job's life demonstrates that he was obedient, upright, and blameless, and he experienced freedom in the midst of turmoil. And we could observe exactly what the Job performed throughout these turbulent times by professing God's sovereignty and having close intimacy with God. May God bless us through this short exhortation.